Every child could sing verses about the Sky Ripper, but ancient codices held hints of other things. A stone that ate souls, a ruby that drank blood, a jewel only a righteous man could give away.
Yeah, so it just starts off all the way back here.
Long hidden in a buried temple.
So what we're going to do is try a different option this time, because that last one didn't really play out the way I intended it to.
By the Emperor's horrific rituals? What was he doing here? Last time, the stone had fought him for possession of his own soul.
There has to be a correct solution, though. Maybe if I try to combine the two artifacts together.
Oh, you got such delicious looking eyeballs! Caught the lead, Raven. Thank you, I think. It never hurt to be polite.
And another pack falls.
The Ravens were already here.
Oh, look, it's doing the thing!
They were still searching for
It's doing the thing where an elemental effect sticks around after battle. Little jet of fire from the ether. Crap, that went off too soon. Pretty advanced combat system here. You can counter attacks and grab enemies and throw them at other enemies. I need to heal. It's good enough. The ice sword again.
This chest contained blank passports from 15 countries. And something useful.
Well, arguably useful. I mean, there's plenty of health to go around. Let's go the other way this time, actually. I tend to catch myself on a wall when I dash. That can be problematic. It kind of wastes the dash. No, I can't reach it from here.
These were no ordinary cannonballs. For one thing, ordinary cannonballs were black.
I may never have to use a workbench again.
There had to be some way to use the Iblis stone. It was old, wasn't it? People are so much cleverer now. And Renato was pretty sure he was cleverer than most people.
Second verse, same as the first. Perfecto! Bye-bye! Oops. We're almost a roasted fox.
The Ravens at least could not get past this point. Obviously, the temple builders knew how to deal with tomb raiders.
Every now and then I gain a little mana back.
No skateboarding, the sign said.
Yeah, we don't need the walls this time. We're just gonna jump through. Okay, grab the Iblis Stone and do something different this time, since last time didn't work out so well.
Of the purest blackness. It reflected no light, like a
Can I? Oh,
void made
can I skip?
solid.
No, I can't.
Nervous, he picked it up. Who said
Reminds
that?
me of the Soul Edge from Soul Calibur.
It was the stone. Eager, thirsty.
Bit more talky though.
That seemed tempting and terribly wrong. Zenobia was the Emperor's greatest
I've already seen where
general
that path
and a
leads.
potent witch. But they had been close once, and he had a sneaking suspicion the gem would try to control him. Why not capture the core of Skyripper instead? It was the eye of a lost god torn out by the transcendent Emperor to power his greatest weapon,
Why, that's a wonderful idea!
said the stone anxiously. But even though Renato knew how evil the gem was, he had a clever plan for dealing with it.
Yeah, and that clever plan sounded alright, but it didn't work out, so let's try this instead. It's the only option we have left that we haven't tried.
The stone bothered him. He hated being told what to do. Wasn't that why he joined the rebellion? Wasn't that why he'd refused to be a soldier? He'd agreed to come on board only if he could freelance. The stone felt a bit clingy, and he had a feeling it did not have his best interests at heart. The sage Calaveras had told him where to find the Skyripper, a weapon capable of challenging the gods. Even without its armature, the core would still possess great power. He would go there.
Probably gonna cut out the loading screens. If I cut the episode here.
The moment he landed the Farfarer, Renato had a rare feeling of regret. It's not too late, he thought. He could turn around and sail for Zenobia's island. He frowned. Wait a minute. He didn't want to kill Zenobia, did he? Sure, technically she was the enemy, but they'd been at Sword Fu school together. They'd never been lovers, but somehow they'd been closer. She'd told him every secret about herself. Except the biggest one. That she was the Emperor's daughter. No. Kill Zenobia, whispered the stone. Before it's too late.
We're in uncharted territory here. Left or the right? Welcome back, by the way. Ooh, I don't think I've read this yet. Dear Zenobia, the director of the... Oh! I hurt myself. I don't think I'm going to do that voice anymore today. The director of the academy has told me how much he was impressed by your academic performance and leadership. Somehow I doubt this was a session of bootlicking. I have seen plenty of those. That old toad is sincere. I am proud of you, my daughter. You will make a fine empress one day. I have read this before, actually. But you haven't. On my end, great news. Professor Calaveras has been studying the Nexus, and he has made a bold observation. That toad is a true genius. You know how that island is unique, constantly changing, new crystalline formations appearing, island fragments merging, splitting, slowly drifting, held together by some invisible threads. Professor Calaveras is convinced those changes are not random, but rather indicative of the living nature of the islands. He has observed that certain changes on the Nexus follow, or sometimes precede, a turbulence on another island. Landslide, quake, flood. The Nexus seems to resonate with those events. Maybe the island are a hive mind, and the Nexus is the brain. In any case, I am funding a permanent scientific observatory on the Nexus. It will attract the Empire's greatest minds, and Professor Calaveras at the helm. I anticipate a great age of enlightenment for the Empire. With love, Father. The kind of love that would sacrifice his own daughter. And another one bites the dust. Burn, all of you! Where do I go? Here we go. Dashing doesn't work too well on stairs, I find. This whole area is different. I don't think I've been here before. I'm used to the crystals being blue.
There was something sour in the air. Like the earth had ruptured over something that had been fermenting for a very long time.
I might be wrong. I might have been here once. Alright, we're gonna have to squeak it now.
Anyone ever tell you you have a lovely eye? No?
Come on, hit him. Damn. It almost killed me. Dying in combat never does you any good. You'll only learn something if you make it to the end and then die. I should increase my throwing distance. I feel that would really help me out with trying to throw crows over the edge. Well, obviously. Okay.
The stone hadn't lied about what it could do for him. With each raven he cut down, he felt a jolt of power flowing into his arm. You're weak, whispered the stone. The core will kill you. Are you
No faster than you, old
afraid
friend.
of it? No, don't be ridiculous. It chuckled. But it's unstable. It will poison you if so much as carry it. And if you try to use it, it will explode catastrophically. Reynardo did not trust rocks that talked in his head. He went onwards. Of course there was a puzzle. You couldn't expect the transcendent emperor to bury a god's eye in a leather sack where anyone could pick it up.
As puzzles go, this game's puzzles are pretty easy, though. Got that health just for the hell of it. Come on. This game has a little bit of an issue where sometimes you'll try to grab something and it doesn't work when it should. Oh, and pots that don't want to break, that kind of thing. But really, its issues are so minute compared to its, just great atmosphere and the world lore and everything. Yeah, teamwork. Grabbing that
As he
stone.
approached the core, the stone became hysterical. No, it's too much power. We'll rip a hole in space and time.
Quite
He
possibly.
had a sudden vision of plunging his gauntlet into the core and dying in anguish. That wasn't his vision, was it? The stone had sent him its darkest fears, hadn't it? He had a sudden impulse to do exactly that. He raised his right fist and plunged it into the core. There was a rush of light. He thought he could hear the stone screaming. And then he passed out. When Reynardo came to, the core was gone. But the Iblis stone was no longer black, but glowing with a blue light. And it was silent. "I can't hear you," he sang out. "You?" It didn't answer. "Ha!" he said. He had defeated the demonic gem with the power of his mind. He felt invincible. It was time to attack the Imperial outpost on the Nexus. Take the battle to the enemy. But among the huge crystals, there was also an observatory. A wise man would probably ask the scientists exactly what he had first. How wise was he?
I don't know. Let's go find out. Reynardo was able to silence the Iblis stone using the Skyripper core, yet the power it gave him was intact. It would be wise to understand what he had done. The scientists at the Nexus would have answers.
As the Farfarer made its way toward the Nexus, Reynardo watched sparks fly out of the core. The Iblis stone sucked them in hungrily. You'd think the stone would want this kind of power, wouldn't it? Thought Reynardo. Well, the scientists would explain it all. This time, Reynardo was sure he'd figured out how to use the core safely. See? He'd trusted his gut, and it had worked out. That's what it meant to be a hero. To ignore the naysayers and the oddmakers, and do what you knew was right, and have it turn out to be the right thing. Well, he wasn't worried. Once he got to the observatory, the scientist toads could explain it. Then he could carry the war into the enemy's camp and destroy them all. Oh dear, he was getting a little bloodthirsty, wasn't he?
Maybe the stone isn't completely dead after all. Well, the mind of the stone, that is. And there you have it.
Good thing Renato didn't have vertigo.
I imagine he'd rather have a hard time to live in this world then, since it's all kind of floating islands over the void. How are we coming along? Almost there! One more perfect battle ought to do it.
Yeah.
Some of these doors leads to shortcuts, some of them lead to treasure. Either way, really, I mean... Try not to waste too much time. Since treasure chests tend to just contain health at this point, and I'm kind of full. He says, and then immediately gets himself hurt. No. Was that enough? No, nowhere near enough. Wasn't perfect either. Okay, well... Nothing won, nothing lost.
Renato had never felt better in his life.
Can't go through there.
Normally, a battle would wear him down and he would need a night's sleep. Now he felt like he could go all night and all day. He felt like people were cheering him on, and he could practically hear their applause as he slew one raven after another.
I have a bad feeling about this. Boy, don't think the stone is completely harmless. These crystals don't seem to drop much anymore.
The Iblis Stone and the Skyripper Core. Two artifacts from the time of legends. Renato was becoming a legendary hero, wasn't he? He had enough power to save the rebellion, but he had to understand this power, so he would not misuse it. A cannon trap. Who doesn't love being shot at by cannons? And who kept these things loaded anyway?
Switch. Oh, dang it, I swung my sword. Threw off my timing. It's fine, I have enough health to survive this anyway. First. Great, he powered up two of them. Dang mage.
I danced around the room yelling, oh yeah, that's how we do it. It was something he liked to do, but only after he'd killed all the witnesses.
That was weird. I got my experience and the results screen before I'd killed all the enemies. That's never happened before. Sweet, precious health. Hey, it's not on fire this time. Well, alright then.
The toads at the observatory measured the stone with their occult devices. I fed it the core of Sky Ripper, explained Renato. No more feed me blood and souls.
But the core is not an unlimited energy source,
said one toad. Another said,
there's a feedback loop, you see, which could overload the stone. Yeah, the stone doesn't actually feed on souls,
claimed a third.
but on pain of killing another sentient being. If you can truly be at peace with yourself, it would not overload.
This was all very confusing. At peace? Yes, the mountains were peaceful and quiet, but he now had the power to turn the tides. He should report to the Rebellion Council and prepare for the decisive battle.
Rushing into the final battle never seems to end well for me, so I'm gonna go to the mountains. At peace. Yes, that almost made sense. The core was protecting Renardo from Iblis Stone's dark influence, but too much killing would overload it. He had to find inner peace to maintain the balance. But overloading the core did not sound reassuring. Maybe Renardo could try to find peace real quick, then go back into the fray in time to save the rebellion. To the mountains he would need to go.
The one thing he understood from all the toad arguments, maybe the stone did not feed on blood, or souls, or rage. It fed on empathy. It fed on the pain he felt when he put an end to another being's existence. Even if that other being was a raven intent on killing him. If he could find peace, then he could use the power of the Iblis Stone without being taken over by its evil.
Yes, that was the way to defeat the Iblis Stone.
The mountains.
All right.
He would go to the mountains. He could find peace there.
Sounds like we made a decent choice.
Unfortunately, the mountains were not empty. There were ravens everywhere.
Oh,
No
great.
matter. He had to fight, yes, but he didn't have to be angry. Parry, dodge, slash, and breathe. Yes, focus on the rhythm, the dance of it, not on the blood or the raven's core as they died. Ah, it was working. He wasn't feeling those dark jolts of eldritch energy. He wasn't feeling the Iblis Stone.
There we go. Oh, crap. So close.
This was much easier than free climbing.
I wonder how many pots I've broken at this point. Let's see what's this way. Probably a chest containing health I don't need. Actually, I think this might have been a shortcut. Nope. Just a chest. Containing health I don't need. Alright, well, that was a learning experience. I feel compulsed to break every pot I meet anyway. now we're really close. I can feel
The
it.
stone was still silent. His mind was his own, and his heart too. He bore them no ill will, these ravens. They were doing their job. They were expressing their nature. Dance, whirl, parry, jab, and breathe. It was all so simple, wasn't it? Something was missing. He didn't feel truly at peace. Wait. Wasn't this near where Calaveras lived? The sage would help him figure it all out.
Get over here!
I never felt bad for littering. These islands are short on trash cans.
Oh, I just need a little bit more. Come on. Oh, this place is starting to fall apart. I better hurry. No, I'm just kidding. There's no way the environment can actually kill you unless you just stand in front of a flamethrower for 5 minutes. We had some very good vegan-friendly Persian food the other day. I guess that was about a week ago now, but it was excellent. This place in North Austin. I forget the name. They had this black spice in a little jar, and it was excellent. We had family visiting at the time, and the non-vegan among them couldn't really taste much in the spice, but our palate is a little bit more refined, so our tongue isn't clogged up by oils and fats from meat. It's kind of lemony. How do I get over there? There we go. And I already have the right sword equipped. Please be a shortcut and not another treasure chest containing things I don't need. Whee! It's the little things in life.
Give me a lever, said Archimedes, and I shall open a gate.
Dear Zenobia, do you remember that expedition I have sent to the depths beneath the islands? They have returned, well, 3 ships have returned, out of the 8 I sent. Of course I mourn the losses, but the knowledge that survivors have brought back is invaluable. What they have experienced is incredible. The air gradually grows denser and more turbulent, until it becomes a suffocating, bone-crushing thunderstorm. But the islands keep stretching for miles below the surface, and they have roots that radiate downwards, far beyond sight. The islands are alive. This is proof I was looking for. The thick air of the depths keeps them afloat, and then in the depths they find their sustenance. Do they have a conscience? Are they aware of their own existence? Or are we merely parasites that they ignore or tolerate? I must prepare another expedition. This time I will go myself. I will see this wondrous world of the endless deep sky. I hope you will visit me before I leave. I'd like to hear more about that new friend of yours, Renardo. With love, Father. So the Emperor wasn't always evil. He was once just a man, a toad, granted, but a man who loved his daughter. I shouldn't have done that.
Renato was remembering all his old tricks. And some new ones. Now, he really ought to ask for a raise.
Lots of ice stores around here. Two treasure chests full of things I don't need. Wow, you're really spoiling me now, game. Okay, which way now? That makes it easier. Must smash
The Iblis Stone,
objects.
silenced by the Sky Ripper's core, had given Renato enough power to challenge the Imperial fleet. But what Renato was seeking was inner peace. The rebellion was on the verge of extinction, but it would have to wait.
Yeah! I'm like Pavlov's dog over here. I see an object I can smash and I have to smash it. Because it's there. Because it can be smashed. Alright. Now I was going to... Kick and throw distance increased. Yes, that's it. That's the ticket.
At the end of the mountain path, he found the wise Calaveras in his workshop. To fix souls or only artifacts? He asked the sage.
Does your soul need fixing?
Asked the sage. I've been killing a lot of ravens lately. He told the sage.
You're a fox.
Said Calavera.
And to kill birds is part of your nature.
I love the voices.
Take joy in it. I mean, I might as well worry about eating flies. Would you like a fly?
It was true. That's what he had forgotten. The joy. Now he was ready for the final battle. The Farfarer cut through the clouds. The air had never felt so sweet since he was a child. There it was. The dreaded Imperial fleet. He could smell wet hemp ropes ahead. Wood and tar and ravens. Even the fleet smelt good, somehow. He was ready. He was ready.
Let's end this.
Renato had it all squared away in his head.
He would kill the Emperor. Isengrim III had begun well, but he had gone mad. He was trying to invoke the lost gods by means of dark, blasphemous rituals. That was a secret. But the victims had spoken to Renato. The ghosts had spoken. No. No anger. Renato could not afford anger. It was empowering the crystal in his sword. That made him stronger, but it clouded his mind. He would not be a hero. A hero strives. Renato would just be one with everything. The Emperor would die, and the wheel would turn, and all would be restored without rancor, without sorrow, without pain.
Sounds like a plan to me. Let's go in an era, shall we?
Renato had a feeling that was the back door to something. But what?
That was a shortcut. Which is why I always take it. timing just right. Okay. Not sure why we're slowing down as much as we are. Doesn't normally do this. I think that's a wee bit odd. There we go. Ah! Ah! I grabbed on over here even though the thing's over here. That's funny. Okay. Well, you know. Hey. Nothing's perfect. This game's a lot closer than most things I've played for my channel,
But the
so...
more he thought about it, and he had so much more time to think about it now that he was not worrying about the battle, killing the Emperor would not change anything. Another would take his place. Perhaps Zenobia. Perhaps the Speaker of the Rebel Council, and power would corrupt them too, and death would make grief, and grief would lead to hatred. He must lead by example. Reject the violence. Reject the desire to create violence. But how?
Bam! Welcome to Earth.
Renato told the corpses. It was something he'd seen in a play once.
See, it's a little laying out a little bit different this time than it was
Soon he'd
last
confront
time.
the Emperor. Funny that this whole war had come about because the Emperor feared death. And now it was coming for him. There was some sort of lesson there, wasn't there?
Burn, my pretties. This is it.
Finally, he came to the Emperor's ship. The path behind him was strewn with dead ravens. The path to enlightenment. His mistake, he realized, was trying to change the world. The world would spin and the wheel would revolve whether he strove against it or not. What he had to do was nothing. He had attained enlightenment. He sat down, adopted a full lotus position, and began to meditate. And all around him, the warriors stopped fighting too. They knew. They could feel his enlightenment. They gave up fighting, dropped their weapons, and became his disciples. No, just kidding. The nearest raven stabbed him with a sword and then chopped off his head. I might not have thought this through properly. Thought Renato's head as it rolled around the deck and died.
Okay then. Story number 15, Return of the Hippie. What kind of hero are you? A hero who transcends being a hero to become one with everything, and then loses his head. Okay. I leveled up. Nice. So this is the storyboard where you can see all the things that you have learned in your travels, which then feed into the locks, which then feed into an ending, which is the end of your hero path. So, what exactly did we learn from that last one? The Eblis Stone, it whispers and corrupts. On a hunch, Renardo fed it the Sky Ripper's core. It silenced the stone, yet its power was intact. Baffled, Renardo brought the gem to the wise scholars. The stone feeds on the pain of killing a sentient being, they said. Too much pain can overload the core. Find inner peace, they urged. For the first time in his life, Renardo listened to wise advice. Then, long story short, meditation, doubt, epiphany, joy. He was ready for battle, but as he fought on, he understood the futility of war. He had found enlightenment, so he sat down on the battlefield and began to meditate until a nearby raven chopped his head off. Okay. Well, there you go. You have now seen 2 endings from this wonderful game. Stories, The Path of Destinies. And that's all you're getting from me, because I honestly want you to go out and buy the game yourself and play it and have fun and see what endings you can get. So, alright. Thank you for joining me. It's been a pleasure. I'll see you next time.